Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com. Catholic leadership in Victoria react to Pope Francis's death that's moments away. It's hurting the price of eggs, and bird flu now being found here in the Crossroads. We have more up ahead. Plus, the president continues his criticism of the Federal Reserve. We'll tell you what Trump wants.
And we got a couple more days of rain chances coming away. That's going to be for today and tomorrow, Wednesday. But starting today, we're also going to have a breezy wind that's going to be with us, bringing humidity and us a warming trend. All that in the weather coming up.
And the 2A and 3A softball playoff matches have been revealed for this week. I'll tell you all of them coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Tuesday, happy Earth Day.
That's right, happy Earth Day Tuesday.
And Mother's Day is a couple weekends away.
Oh yeah, that's right, it's coming up
but
real quick.
Since it's Earth Day, it might be a good idea to scope out your local nurseries, so you can pick out some flowers for Mom.
That's right, maybe go ahead and pick up some flowers, maybe even some seeds, like do what I did. I've got lots of seeded plants in my backyard I've been growing for a while. But yes, we've got lots more spring weather coming our way over the next several days, so go ahead and get to some of those plantings done. But right now, if you're tuning in with us, you look alive in Victoria. We've got another warm and humid morning out there. It's 69 degrees to start out the day, and your dew point 2 degrees off at 67, still bringing us the high humidity of 93%. All that thanks to the winds that have actually technically returned out of the southeast. I know it says east at about 5 miles an hour, but they're technically out of the southeast, out of the Gulf, which is why the humidity is high. And actually, with it so high, we have patchy fog for all of us around the Crossroads this morning. And I do think we're going to have a little bit more patchy fog along the highways where there's more water transpiration with plants. So just be careful if you're hitting the roads today. Otherwise, temperatures just a tad bit cool out there for just some of us, but everybody else, we're nice and warm out there. And the rest of Texas is following suit with temperatures right now in the 60s and 70s. North Texas is a bit cool in the 50s, but radar, that's nice and clear except for the fog that's actually kind of visible right here on the radar. So if you're sending your kiddos at the door, just be careful with that fog, but it's going to be another warm and breezy day. All those details coming up next.
The death of Pope Francis Monday morning has the Catholic community in mourning worldwide. Victoria's Catholic community is also paying tribute to Francis. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with a lead minister to learn more about a mass held in his honor.
We might get tired of asking God for forgiveness, but He never tires in forgiving us.
That was a quote from Holy Father Pope Francis II when he would give his pontificate or to speak as a high official. Many gathered at St. Mary's Catholic Church Monday due to the passing of beloved Holy Father Pope Francis II. Minister Father Christopher Fuchs said he woke up to many text messages about his death from a stroke and a heart failure. He immediately arranged a mass to offer special prayer for Pope Francis's family and their future.
The Pope is a very important person in the lives of all Catholics and really for Christians and people all around the world.
Fuchs met Pope Francis on New Year's Day of 2014. He cherishes his time spent with him and recalls meeting him a special honor. Pope Francis is considered a leader among Catholics as he's known for his generosity and compassion.
He is our leader. He is the visible head here on earth of the unity of the church. And so he brings about unity. He confirms us in the faith. And so very, very special, very important person, certainly in our lives.
Mass is held every single day where people can gather, pray, and have a chance to fellowship with one another. Fuchs calls Mass his source and summit, or their daily bread.
The Mass becomes part of the rhythm of daily life.
Even though the Pope passed away, Fuchs will still continue to put Pope Francis as the primary source of his life.
St. Mary's and other churches will continue to mourn the loss of Pope Francis II. They'll hold daily Mass and rosaries for an additional 9 days. Local Bishop Brendan Cahill spoke on behalf of the Diocese of Victoria as the Catholic community mourns the Pope's death. Bishop Cahill says Pope Francis's death was a shock that left him grieving. The church had just celebrated Easter and Bishop Cahill was surrounded by family when he found out. Pope Francis has been the Pope for Cahill's entire tenure as bishop. He says the Pope, being from Latin America, was, quote, huge and meant so much for our area.
far as becoming the Pope in Rome, he said, I do come from the periphery. So I come from far away. I come from Argentina. And so he represents us in that way. And so I think, for the Crossroads and for our area, I think a lot of people can identify with that, with his culture and with his expression, with his sensitivity.
The 9 days of daily mass will include a service on Wednesday at Our Lady of Victory Cathedral at 5:30 p.m. Pope Francis II has served as head of the Catholic Church since March 2013. Bird flu has been affecting egg prices. Now, Texas Parks and Wildlife reports bird flu was found in wild birds in Wharton County. Recent testing has found bird flu in foxes, raccoons, striped skunks, and domestic cats in 6 other Texas counties. State authorities say the transmission risk of bird flu from infected birds to people remains low, but people should take basic protective measures if they must make contact with wild animals. A closer look at the market sell-off, the Dow plunging on Monday as the president ramped up his criticism of the Federal Reserve.
This morning, President Trump escalating his criticism of the Federal Reserve, urging the nation's central bank to immediately lower interest rates. The president placing the blame on Fed Chair Jerome Powell, whom he appointed, attacking him, but many on Wall Street disagree.
I think the markets are reacting to our president, clearly. The policies are absolutely erratic. There is no strategy.
The Dow plunging nearly 1,000 points on Monday amid the Powell comments and the president's trade policy. President Trump is just the latest in a long line of presidents to publicly try and influence the Fed, despite its independence from politics. Powell voicing alarm last week about Trump's tariff policy, saying it would likely hike inflation and slow economic growth. The president has been saying for weeks that he wants Chairman Powell out. And overnight, the president claiming on social media without evidence that, quote, there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now. In November, days after Trump's election victory, Powell remained defiant when asked whether he would resign from his position.
If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Now, critics are slamming the recent attacks on the Federal Reserve.
The Fed is an independent agency. This is part of the point of effective monetary policy. But Donald Trump believes he's a one-person rule.
Powell became Fed chair in 2018 after he was appointed by President Trump and confirmed by the Senate. It's not clear whether Trump has the power to remove Powell. An effort by Trump to remove members of other independent agencies is currently before the Supreme Court. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We want to know, should the Federal Reserve cut interest rates? All right, let's take a look. 66% of you say yes and 34% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Firefighters responded to a vehicle fire just after 8 a.m. Monday. It happened in the parking lot of Victoria Mall off North Navarro. 25 News Now has reached out to the Victoria Fire Department for more information, and we're waiting to hear back. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. After years of dedicated service to Victoria County, a longtime public servant announces he's stepping down.
We're here at the Vatican following the death of Pope Francis. We'll have more on the reactions around the world to his passing coming up.
And also coming up next after the break, in the short-term forecast, you heard me say we got more rain chances coming our way. That's right. So coming up next, I'll take a look at just when I think all the rain will be here. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Tuesday. You're looking live in Cuero this morning. We're starting out the day just a tad bit cool, all that underneath the partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies. I don't know why it says it's clear out there. It is obviously not. You can see that with the clouds over us right now in Cuero. 67 to start out the day in Cuero. Like I said, a little bit cool, but it is definitely humid with your dew point 2 degrees off. Humidity is at 93% this morning, which is enough to see fog, so please be careful if you see any of that on the roads this morning. Otherwise, if you do see any fog out there right about now, that'll be on the decrease at around 8 or 8:30, burning off to mostly cloudy skies in the morning time. You can see that right here. Here's 9 a.m. Mostly cloudy skies in the morning time, maybe a couple spotty sprinkles as well as indicated here. But I think that too will be on the decrease all day long, down to partly cloudy skies. Here's noontime. You can see partly cloudy already, and it'll stick like that all the way for the rest of the afternoon time as well. But also in the afternoon, today, tomorrow, we have a chance for rain. It's going to be very low. I've actually bumped that down from 30% to 20% for today, and that chance is going to be at its highest in the afternoon time, I think. Like I said, probably going to be really spotty, and I can't guarantee that you're going to see rain today, but going into overnight tonight, you can see still partly cloudy, all the way maybe down to mostly sunny in the late afternoon time. And then we'll pick back up a cloud cover, and actually overnight tonight, we may have another chance for rain. Here is 3, 4, and 5 a.m., maybe an extra round of scattered showers, and even more rain chances for tomorrow afternoon time as well. Here's 1 p.m., 2, and 3 p.m. You did see a little bit of pink in there. I want to let you know, don't worry about severe weather. None of that is coming our way, but we do only have a couple days left of rain chances before the warm and breezy weather is back. And we're going to look at all that coming up next.
All right, happy Tuesday morning here at Crossroads. And 2 days from now, we're going to be in the first round of the softball playoffs. And first, we're going to look at the 2A and 3A ranks with the top-ranked Shiner Lady Comanches in 2A. We're going to face the Agua Dulce Longhorns at the Larry Kiesling Sports Complex. That'll be this Thursday night at 5 p.m. They'll have Game 2 then. The same time and then they'll play Game 3 if necessary on Friday there for Shiner if that happens. And 2 Crossroads teams in 2A are going to face each other. Ganado Medians versus the Refugio Lady Cats. It's going to be at Sinton High School. The first game being at 6 p.m. Then Game 2 is going to be 20 minutes after the Game 1 ends there in now. And then possibly, if necessary, there'll be a game there on Friday at 7 there for both of those teams. Then in 3A, the Tidehaven Lady Tigerettes are facing the Poth Pirates on Friday for Game 1 at 7 p.m. with Games 2 and 3 will be on Saturday. Then top-ranked Hallettsville Lady Brahmas are going to face Nixon Smiley Mustangs there on Thursday. Game 1 is going to be at 6 p.m. at Cuero. And then those 2 games, also then the Game 2s and 3 will be there on the next day. And then finally, Goliad will face Yoakum at Thursday at Kennedy Turf Complex. That'll be at 5 p.m. with Games 2 and 3 being on Friday. Now, if you want to see all the 4A and 5A playoff softball teams, again, just go to crossroadstoday.com and already have a web story posted out for all the teams who had advanced in 4A and 5A. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
Now we turn to the Vatican, where cardinals are meeting to discuss plans for the funeral of Pope Francis, who died Monday.
This morning, the first images of Pope Francis in his coffin. The video shows a ceremony from last night, a cardinal blessing the Pope. Thousands of Catholics gathering in St. Peter's Square, joining people around the world in mourning for Pope Francis. From his hometown in Argentina to Paris's Notre Dame to this church in Gaza, the Empire State Building lit up in his honor. In Rome, cardinals sealing up the Pope's residence following a centuries-old tradition. Today, cardinals meeting from around the world to decide the date for the Pope's funeral, setting it for Saturday. The Vatican saying the 88-year-old Pope died yesterday morning after suffering a stroke and heart failure.
Cari fratelli e sorelle.
The Pope hospitalized for weeks with double pneumonia earlier this year, but he recovered, and on Easter Sunday he appeared in St. Peter's Square, touring the crowds in the Pope-mobile. Francis delivering a final blessing just a day before his death. Pope Francis was known for making the Catholic Church more inclusive, once replying, "Who am I to judge?" when asked about the possibility of a gay priest.
His legacy is one of care for the environment. His big encyclical, Laudato Si, really made it a spiritual question. I also think, just as we saw, someone who is humble and compassionate and that people liked.
World leaders also paying their respects. President Trump saying he and the First Lady will attend Francis's funeral.
He's a very good man who loved the world, and he especially loved people that were having a hard time.
The Vatican saying Francis will be buried in Rome's Basilica of St. Mary Major, the first pope buried outside of the Vatican in more than a century.
The funeral should take place no later than 6 days after Pope Francis's death. The conclave to choose a new pope should then take place around 2 to 3 weeks later. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, Vatican City.
Victoria County Fire Marshal Richard Castillo announced he's retiring after years of service in multiple roles, including county constable, justice of the peace, and most recently fire marshal. Castillo's been a steady presence in the county. Judge Ben Zeller says Castillo brought calm during tough times and set an example with his dedication to public service. The commissioners thanked him for his commitment and wished him all the best as he steps into retirement.
Richard, I'd like to convey my gratitude and my thanks for not only serving the county, but all the different roles in this community that you've been a part of, everything from serving in the Victoria Fire Department, your elected roles, and your current role as the Fire Marshal for Victoria County. Thank you for your service, not only to the people of Victoria County, but to all the people of this community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well,
A come-and-go reception will be held for Castillo on Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the County Fire Station. Crossroads Today invites you to join in and celebrate Earth Day by showing off your doodles. On Earth Day, we share a submission by Sabrina titled "Our Power, Our Planet." Her mother says she drew and painted this because she sees and believes that we need to take care of our planet on land and under the sea. Show us what Earth Day means to you. We'll share your Earth drawings on our social media and feature them on Sunrise. Submissions are open now through the end of the week. Just come to crossroadstoday.com to take part. The time is now, let's take a look, it's 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. The White House is exploring new ways to boost America's declining birth rate. All right, it is time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Jeffrey Dean Morgan. The Watchmen and a Walking Dead actor is 59 today.
Happy birthday, Jeffrey. And also, it's Jack Nicholson's birthday, known for everything from Easy Rider to The Shining to Batman. He's turning 88 today. Happy birthday, Jack Nicholson. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, just head on over to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, the time is now 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. I want to wish a special happy birthday to Kathy.
Happy birthday.
A happy birthday to you if you're celebrating one.
That's right, happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Surely you've noticed if you stepped your foot out the door for just a couple seconds, actually, you've noticed it is quite humid out there this morning. All of that, the humidity is up because the winds have returned out of the Gulf. Actually, last night is when they come back out of the Gulf, and it's going to stay breezy coming out of the Gulf for the rest of this week, keeping our humidity high. Looking at your Muggy Meter forecast, you can see dew points are going to be sticking in the mid to upper 60s for the rest of this week, maybe even touching the low 70s in the overnights. But that's going to be for the entire week. You can see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all the way into next week as well. We're going to be quite humid thanks to those breezy Gulf winds. And all that is going to lead me to today's weather poll. Today I ask you, the humidity is back. How does it feel to you? It looks like 20% are still saying it's as if you're breathing water. I love that answer. 50% majority are still saying it's a little bit much, but you can still handle it. And 30%, around a third, are saying it's not humid. It's actually just right. But thank y'all so much for taking part in today's weather poll. For future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote whether to participate, and I will always read those answers on Sunrise. But humidity is back, as you can see. So make sure that y'all are staying hydrated. And actually, we'll look at this heat indices here in a second because it's going to feel a little bit warm today and the rest of this week. But the humidity is back because the winds, like I said, they're going to be coming out of the Gulf for the rest of this week out of the southeast. And it's going to be a bit breezy at times. And today is when it's going to start being breezy, really as early as this afternoon. Going into the afternoon time, we'll look for gusts as high as 20 to 25 miles an hour. And then we'll pick up as we go into this weekend time on Sunday up to about 30. And then on Monday of next week up to 35 miles an hour. But the breezy Gulf wind, you know what that means. It's bringing us humidity, but also pollen. We've got some high grass pollen and moderate tree pollen. And if you can't tell by the amount of times I sniffled this morning, go ahead and take an allergy pill. I would highly recommend it for today. But heat is going to continue, not just down in South Texas, but the rest of Texas. Highs sticking in the 80s and 90s. And then the heat indices, that's going to feel like the low 90s here in South Texas. And we'll look at all that more later on Sunrise.
The White House has been listening to ideas that would encourage more Americans to get married and have more children. It could be seen as evidence the Trump administration is open to embracing a cultural agenda pushed by the right amid declining birth rates and a push of conservative family values. The New York Times reports one proposal that would give every American mother a baby bonus of $5,000 cash after delivery. There's been no indication from the administration as to whether any of the ideas are under serious consideration. Walgreens has agreed to pay the government $300 million to settle an opioid lawsuit with the Justice Department. The pharmacy is accused of illegally filling millions of invalid prescriptions for controlled substances. The company then sought payment for many of those invalid prescriptions through federal healthcare programs. If Walgreens is sold, merged, or transferred before fiscal year 2032, the pharmacy would owe the U.S. government an additional $50 million. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A teen accused in a school shooting makes his first court appearance. A 17-year-old accused of shooting 4 students at a high school in Dallas appeared in court for the first time on Monday. Tracy Haynes Jr. is jailed on 6 charges. The bond was set last week at more than $3 million. And during Monday's hearing, the judge kept his bond the same. Haynes walked into Wilmer Hutchins High School last Tuesday, and authorities say he opened fire inside a hallway, then left. He later turned himself into police. It's unclear what sparked the shooting. Instagram is testing artificial intelligence to spot teens pretending to be adults. If AI detects an adult account actually belongs to a teenager, it will automatically implement teen account settings. Those accounts have stricter content moderation settings and give parents more control over them. The cutoff age for these accounts is 18 years old. The Department of Education announced it will restart collecting federal student loans in default on May 5th. It ends a roughly 5-year-long pandemic-era pause. Student loans go into default after 270 days without payment. The department is urging borrowers in default to start making a monthly payment. If not, the federal agency could order non-federal employers to withhold a percentage of an employee's income to pay the delinquent debt. Early voting for the May 3rd election starts this morning. Today is also the deadline for mail-in ballot applications. Early voting in Victoria County is at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday the hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting runs through April 29th and Election Day is Saturday, May 3rd. We want to invite y'all to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a final look at our weather with Parker. It looks like a cloudy sunrise over the water.
That's right. It does look a little bit mostly cloudy out there, doesn't it, this morning? All that thanks to the high humidity at the surface, which is burning off, turning into clouds above our heads, but that will also be on the decrease today. We'll look at that here in a second because we're starting out the day a bit warm out there. About 74 in Port Lavaca right now, but also very humid because your dew point is at a whopping 73 right now. That humidity is at 95% to be exact in Port Lavaca, but we do have a little bit of patchy fog around the crossroads. Patchy in nature, so just be careful if you see that this morning. That'll burn off at around 8 or 8:30, but we do have some warm temperatures to accompany that fog. Lots of low 70s and even upper 60s around the crossroads this morning, and the same thing is consistent all around Texas, even though I didn't show you. But it's going to be about 83, I'm thinking, for the high today in Port Lavaca, already at about 80 flat at noontime, 80 flat by the time you're getting off work or around sunset. But we're going to be looking at, like I said, clouds on the decrease all day and some breezy winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour at times. So if you have any lightweight items, maybe secure that. It's just a little bit breezy today. Same thing for all of that in Victoria, about 86 though for the high, a little bit warmer. And I also think at around noontime to about 3 or 4 p.m. for all of us, we're going to have a slight 20% chance to see a spotty shower or two. And like I said, noontime to 3 p.m. when that's going to happen, but a bit warmer in Cuero. I'm thinking 87 degrees today, but I'm going to go ahead and say get used to that right there and all of this, because all of this is going to be coming our way over the next several days, because looking at your 7-day forecast, highs sticking in the mid and even upper 80s for some for the rest of this week, maybe even some in the low 90s, with breezy winds bringing in the humidity with heated seas in the low 90s.
All right, thank you, Parker.
Of course.
And thank y'all for being with us this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Good Morning America is just a few moments away. Have a great day.